Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Good morning and welcome to Johnny's Bite. I trust you're fine this morning. Well, it's Thursday. Christmas is close, but I'm not sure the Napconians and the guys at the youth in afforestation, the guys in the teaching and training colleges, and also all those people who have not been paid their monies by government can say same. Because I'm sure by now they are wondering where they could get money to buy their rice, their oil, their chicken, if they're fish lover, turkey, whatever it is. They are wondering, they're thinking where they can get drinks from. Some of them have parents who have heard from the village that, oh, me bano ye juma kakra, mbile nchunin few. So at this time when it's Christmas, they're looking forward to bringing something to them. But hey, we all know what the situation is. They are broke and the matter is choke. And nobody seems to be paying attention to them. They are broke, the matter is choke, but nobody wants to stay awoke. That's the conversation right now. The young people of this country, majority of them who had hope, who had hinged their hope on some of these schemes that had been created by government. And I'll always go back to what happened at the results fair at the Accra International Conference. It's a beautiful initiative, if you ask me. You're doing you're conducting interviews right at the spot, and you say there are job opportunities that will be given to the young people. You are teaching them how to write CVs and all of that. Beautiful, beautiful concept. Companies come to exhibit so they know which companies are available, where to plug in and how to plug in and all of that. Very beautiful, fantastic. But then the conversation now stands out. After that, what next? We were told at that particular event that we're going to have a nationwide block, a replication of what happened at the Accra International Conference Center. Within that same period, we're going to have a national character. The second one, the subsequent one, if you like, the sequel, was held at somewhere in the Ashanti region. Finished. Accra, Kumasi, finished. Is that our reality as Ghanaians? We saw the numbers that massed up at the recruitment centers to want to get into security services, police, immigration, fire service. And I must commend the police service for being very, very, very decent in their recruitment processes. However, the question of paying to serve your country is the problem. They bought forms for 100 Ghana cedis each to want to serve their country, protect their country, whether fire service, whether police, immigration, whether army. They bought prisons, they bought forms. Where are those monies? We were told that, oh, those monies are going to be used for administrative purposes and all of that. But we all do know that all of these agencies are under the direction of either the Ministry of Defense or the Ministry of Interior. Go to Parliament today. You will find that the parliamentarians are around the table doing appropriation and estimates. They will give them money. They are not supposed to be a money-making ventures. If not, they would lose their focus. But they decide to take 100 cedis each from every applicant. Now, did you see the numbers of young people who queued up to want to join the security services? Multiply that by 100. Let's say you have just even 100,000 by 100 people. Calculate. And tell me how much money we have made and where that money has gone. Because you and I know that the people who, the youngsters and my brothers and sisters who decided that they were going to give their lives to the nation, to serve the nation, were not giving whatever, food, water, and everything else amounting to 100 cedis. I know people who have sat here in this country connected to the UK, US via online means and have had themselves recruited. They didn't have to pay a kobo, a dime, a shikom, a pence. They didn't have to pay any of that. We are asking our young people who want to serve to pay. Do we understand what that means, the repercussions? Do we understand? Now, to add insult to injury, we are now asking them to pay 800 cedis for medical examination. Medical examination, 800 cedis. So add 100 plus 800 plus all the times they had to come to the rallying point, transport, food, clothing, all of those expenses, water, drinks. Can you imagine how much they would have spent already? If truly and really they are jobless, they are not earning, and they would have to spend that much just in their quest to serve their nation. That's a big problem. That is a big problem, because 1,000 cities could set up a small kelewele joint, even if it's tabletop. It could. So now they are deciding that they don't want to get into this because they may not be natural entrepreneurs. So they want to rather serve their nation, and they are being asked to pay to serve their nation. When they get in, they will do everything possible to try and recoup that amount of money they're getting. And the security services have also not responded to the allegations of young people who are being asked to pay huge sums of money, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, in some cases 20,000 cedis, just to get a sure slot within the security services. Who is behind? Who's collecting those monies? They have not publicly denied those ones. Do they know? Do we not know? Yesterday, somebody told me that they have been asked to pay 3,000 cedis so they can be giving a sure slot in NAPCO, a permanent placement. I don't know how true that is, but I'm just saying that these things happen. We do know that people take advantage of the system because some people have decided to break the system, and we are all happy running a broken system. We are all excited. And some people are questioning, oh, is this journalism? Is this journalism? Oliver, pull that George Orwell quote up for me. George Orwell's quote, pull it up for me right now on the screen. He said something very, very instrumental I'd like to share with you this morning. Whether you be a politician, whether you be somebody who is a party apparatchik, this is what George Orwell says. He says, journalism is printing what someone else does not want printed. Everything else is public relations. George Orwell. Thankfully, I studied journalism at the Ghana Institute of Journalism, and I also did PR. So I know what journalism is, and I know what public relations is. I told you the other time, public relations is paid for, it's deliberate, it's planned. It's paid for, it's deliberate, it is planned. PR. Journalism is not like that. So if you are looking for a press agency, look somewhere else, because this is not your location. Now, away from that, and still within the confines of finding employment for young people, and if you like, everybody else who desires to do some honest work for some honest living. On my way to the Volta region, I saw something, and before we come to that, I saw something around the Sugakope area, something that's very common around the Adomi Bridge, common around the Techiman area. I mean, wherever it is that you're traveling to in this country, if you ever do inland travels a lot like some of us do, you would see them. And we have all shut our eyes to it. We keep inviting tourists into this country, but we have all shut our eyes to it, and it seems as if it's become part of our structure. But before that, Oliver, show me the video of that speed ramp that had a pothole in it. Show me. There's a speed ramp. It has a pothole in it on the way to the Volta region. You see the speed ramp? There's a toll booth very close to it. A speed ramp has a pothole in it on Mine Ghana. Speed ramp, pothole. So if you're not familiar with the road, you can just imagine what will happen if you're top speed at night, you don't know, and there are no street lights there, by the way. So you are on it. Play the video again. Let's see the video, and the toll booth is close by. Play the other one. Pothole in the speed ramp. There's a pothole. Huge pothole in the street. Now, not this one. Take me back to the pothole. This one. Sustain the shot for me. Pothole in the what do you call it? Speed ramp. Roads Minister, good morning to you. You told us that you are fixing roads, and that those of us who say you are not fixing roads, we should hurry up. Is this your hurrying up? Look at the road. Look at the road. Such a major road connecting two major cities, the capital of Accra and connecting the Volta region. This is it. Speed ramp with potholes in 21st century Ghana in the second year of roads. You can't move my anchor. Look at the roads. This is it. I didn't manufacture this. I'm not sure the drivers, what you call, destroyed it. But if you have a car and you value it and you bought it with your own money, when you're using such a road, and the iron rods are coming out. The other time, a friend of mine used the Temamoto way, and the iron rods on the Temamoto way in the concrete that has been exposed, it burst his tire. His tire got burst. Now, Oliver, take me to the hawkers around that, the Sogakope area. The hawkers just around the Sogakope area. Take me there. And it's something that's been happening all through. We see it. You see these very beautiful Ghanaian people. We see them every now and then running up and down, trying to sell. And let's watch the full thing. Let's watch the full thing. Up the sound. One of them said, "Oh, Brad, I will try a video." So this is an amateur video. Now play the second video where they were racing just to make ends meet. Play that one. Play that second video where the hawkers were racing, risking their lives just to make ends meet. Now we know that they have been there. Minister for Tourism, Dr. Mohammed Awal, good morning to you. This is not fine. It doesn't look good on you. So can we, for example, create a certain park where we can go, like we have the Johnnie fish market. You can get all types of fish. The Johnnie fish market, if you go there, you can get all types of fish. Can we create something like that where you get there, you have abolo, you have Igbe biscuit, you have 1 month 1,000, you have all of this, tilapia, you have all of those things. Can we create a decent market, a sort of a park that could create some tourism hub that's more decent, where people could pay a little to enter if they are tourists, and we could be making money? Can we do that rather than asking them to be running around with cars, chasing cars and risking their lives? Because we know cars knock them down every now and then. That's your job, Mr. Minister for Tourism. That's your job. That's your job, Mr. Minister for National Security. It is your job. That is your job, Mr. Minister for Trade. It is your job. I've told you before that we have the Continental Trade Area Office here. But until we decide to plug in effectively, we will not get anything out of it. So the people, show the video again, the people who chase vehicles all through, and we've seen that. I mean, when the Temamoto Way was, the toll booth was illegally closed by the roads minister, who is a lawyer who should have known better, because Mr. Kenofriata said, subsequent to the approval of the budget, he's a lawyer. He thought he was going to whip up public interest and sentiment and in support. I told you, because even the traffic at Kaswa, the traffic that was used as an excuse, Kaswa still has traffic. I showed you on Monday, Kaswa still has traffic. You see, They are racing towards the car. See, they are racing towards the car. They get knocked down. Their wares sometimes, fall off. Investment and everything gone sometimes. I mean, how much could they possibly sell running around like that? Because not every vehicle stops to buy. So can we create a decent market for them? Like President Kufuor envisaged and did the pedestrian market at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. Can we create something decent for them? You walk in there, you want abolo. There are different types of abolo from different sellers of abolo. You want, is it akpakanami? Is that what they call it? You want that, you go and you get different types, different sizes, different flavors. Can we do that for them? Can we do that? Is that too much to ask? Well, I've told you. I will come back to it sometime soon. Oliver, play for me finally the president's voice yesterday saying something about the borders. And Mr. President, after this video, I'll tell you something. Play.
To my fellow Ghanaians living along the borders of our nation, I know of the difficulties occasioned you by the closure of our borders. As you know, the decision to close our borders, which are a source of livelihoods to many, was necessary because we wanted to limit the importation of the virus into the country. We're monitoring the level of threat of the disease and ongoing vaccinations in our neighboring countries. And as soon as we are satisfied that it is safe to do so, the borders will be open. Until then, I believe this is not the right time to reopen our land borders, especially as we're determined to prevent a fourth wave. And as such, they will remain closed until further notice.
Presido, I have told you that the people who write your speech need to be fired. The people who write your speeches for you, they need to be fired because they don't tell you what the real situation is on the ground. Earlier this year, TV3, Ketsi Nancy Vukania and two of our investigative journalists went to the Aflao border. We showed you broken boundaries and how people were crossing in and out and how even officials stationed at that place were allowing people to come in. We showed you that documentary, Mr. President. We showed you that documentary. Or perhaps you were not paying attention. Perhaps the sycophants and the praise singers around you would not tell you that that's what's happening. You see, and this whole argument of, when it is safe to do so, we shall open the borders. Sometimes it gets on my nerves, boss. Sorry, but it gets on my nerves, Mr. President, respectfully. Because you see, we all know that we have too many unapproved routes into this country. We know. We know how foreigners are getting in. We know how sometimes vehicles that are supposed to be bringing us food also cut people. We know, we are aware. Let's stop pretending. Then occasionally we'll round up a few people and do the media hype with them and say, we have been able to police the borders and we have picked up these people. We know. When the jailbreak broke in Nigeria, we know what happened. The police wrote and said some of them could be here. So now the key question in the conversation is that there's economics tied to this thing. Mr. President, we closed the borders at the inception of COVID. When we were registering, we had soldiers around the borders. When we had elections, we had them around there. We are not voting anymore. We are not registering anymore. COVID is still here. And all the rules that we made and gave to ourselves, we've broken them, including you, Bosu. You held a big party at Manchagbona, didn't you, Mr. President? So where this argument comes through, you held some. The NDC also did some. John Mahama organized people. You organized people. The political class tells us one thing and they do the direct opposite. You tell us one thing. Oliver, pull up two of Nanado's the snapshots from his address from yesterday. You tell us one thing and you do another. This weekend, your party is going to have its congress or conference. This week, your party will have its conference. Are we going to hear the same excuses we heard after, what do you call it, after the elections, that your activities as political parties and political actors were not responsible for the spike we saw in January of 2021. Are we going to hear the same excuse? People are languishing in jail. Some are being tried for breaking the COVID rules. The political class does it, and nothing happened to now. The president says, open this for me. It says, we will be guided by what transpired last Christmas, where there was a sharp spike in the number of COVID infection cases and deaths in the immediate months of January and February 2021. We should avoid the repetition of such scenario after this year's Christmas celebration. Again, the political class. Because when you finish the elections, Mr. President, after all the campaigns, you had parties. There were parties, victory parties. You don't suppose that the victory parties had an impact on the numbers of infection that we had, Mr. President? Because our first infection in March of 2020 started with only 2 people. And we all know the Norwegian conversation. We all know. So why is it that we try to let it look as if it is just the people who are not in the political class who are responsible for the spread? And that is why there is a certain pushback from the people when you are now forcing them to take the vaccines. We must have candor and honesty. Candor and honesty, that's how we can fight COVID-19. COVID-19 is not a communication problem. It is a medical situation. It's a public health situation. And we must handle it as such. The spin is too much, Bosu. Now, you say ensure that social events are held in open spaces. That's the first trick. Ensuring that attendees wear masks. Ensuring that social distancing is observed. How are you going to ensure social distancing when you are massing up people for a conference? Because there will be some form of a rally of a sort. I'm waiting to see how you're going to do it. Because we're told that, when people meet and converge outside in an open space, but we saw the numbers of people at both rallies of the major parties at least. We saw them. How do you suppose to ensure social distancing? In a stadium, for example, that is fully packed. In a nation that has not vaccinated about 70% of its people. How do you do that? Now, finally, observing and enhancing hygiene protocols such as hand washing and the use of sanitizers, etc., and encouraging attendees as much as possible to come vaccinated. We are watching, Bosu. The nation is watching. Your party must set the example for us. We are watching, Mr. President. We are watching. Good morning.
I'm going to interview Zuzum right here in my house. Hey!
Look up there. Why are you using inferior pen?
It was a mistake. I no check.
Akrobetu, I'm going to knock you out.
I know, sir.
You deserve quality.
Don't make mistakes. Stop!
You did the right thing.
When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any painting be paint.
The luxury acrylic paint.
Paint me champion.
Every day he has a drink filled with malt. Every day he has a drink filled with malt and milk. Every day he has a drink filled with malt, milk, and cocoa. Every day he needs the nutritious goodness of Milo. Milo, the energy to go further. This advert is FDA approved.
Drip.
I'm on a mission to find my African love. See, I get a vision to find my African love.